Alfonso Cahero, A Journey into Finance History. Chapter 58, Belt and Road Initiative, announced by China, 2013, aimed at creating a modern Silk Road, enhancing trade routes across continents. In the bustling heart of Beijing, 2013 was a year of grand vision. It was a year that would set the stage for a transformation unprecedented in the annals of modern history. President Xi Jinping, the leader of the world's most populous nation, stood at the podium, a map of the world unfurled behind him. The air buzzed with anticipation as dignitaries from across the globe leaned forward, eager to hear the announcement that would shape the future of global trade. The Belt and Road Initiative, Xi began, his voice resolute and visionary, is not merely a project, but a bridge. A bridge connecting Asia, Europe, and Africa. A bridge to mutual prosperity. As he spoke, images of ancient caravans traversing the legendary Silk Road flickered in the minds of the audience. The Silk Road, a network of trade routes established during the Han Dynasty, had once connected the East and West, facilitating not just the exchange of goods, but also ideas, cultures, and innovations. It was along these routes that silk, spices, and precious metals flowed, alongside knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and art. But now, in the 21st century, China envisioned something far more ambitious. The Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, aimed to rejuvenate these ancient routes with modern infrastructure, creating a seamless network of railways, highways, and maritime corridors. This network, Xi proclaimed, would enhance global trade and foster regional cooperation, driving economic growth and reducing poverty. The initiative comprised two main components: the Silk Road Economic Belt, an overland network connecting China to Europe through Central Asia, and the 21st Century Maritime Silk Road, a sea route linking China to Southeast Asia, Africa, and Europe. Together, these routes promise to span over 60 countries, covering more than 65% of the world's population and 1/3 of the global economy. As the speech concluded, applause erupted, and the vision of a new Silk Road began to take hold. Diplomats, business leaders, and scholars from every corner of the world discussed the potential impacts of this grand endeavor. Some saw it as a beacon of hope, promising unprecedented economic opportunities. Others viewed it with skepticism, wary of China's expanding influence. Among the audience was Anara, a young economist from Kazakhstan. She had traveled far to witness this historic announcement, driven by curiosity and a desire to understand how this initiative could reshape her homeland. Kazakhstan, a key link in the overland Silk Road, stood at the crossroads of Asia and Europe. For centuries, it had been a land of nomads and traders, its vast steppes echoing with the hoofbeats of countless caravans. Anara's thoughts were a whirlwind of possibilities, the promise of new infrastructure, high-speed railways, modern highways, and bustling ports could transform Kazakhstan from a landlocked country into a pivotal hub of Eurasian trade. But with these opportunities came questions. How would this influx of investment impact local communities? What were the environmental implications of such massive construction projects? And most importantly, would the benefits be equitably shared? The days following the announcement were filled with debates and discussions. Experts analyzed the potential economic benefits, estimating that the BRI could lift millions out of poverty by creating jobs and boosting trade. Environmentalists raised concerns about the impact of large-scale construction on fragile ecosystems. Political analysts pondered the strategic implications, considering how the BRI might shift the global balance of power. Anara spent hours in conference rooms and coffee shops, talking to colleagues and strangers alike. She listened to the hopes and fears of people from different countries, each with their unique perspectives. A Pakistani engineer spoke of the new ports and power plants that could transform his country's infrastructure. A Greek shipping magnate envisioned revitalized ports that could turn Greece into a major maritime hub once again. An African entrepreneur dreamt of new markets for his goods and easier access to Chinese technology. Through these conversations, Anara began to see the BRI as more than just a series of construction projects. It was a tapestry of human stories, each thread representing the dreams, aspirations, and challenges of people from diverse backgrounds. It was a grand experiment in globalization, with the potential to reshape the economic and geopolitical landscape of the 21st century. As she boarded her flight back to Almaty, Anara's mind buzzed with ideas. She resolved to delve deeper into the BRI, to understand its complexities and nuances. She knew that the success of this initiative would depend not just on economic calculations, but on the ability of nations and communities to work together, to build bridges of trust and cooperation. In the coming years, Anara would become a prominent voice in the dialogue surrounding the Belt and Road Initiative. She would travel extensively, witnessing firsthand the transformations taking place across continents. Her journey would take her from the bustling ports of Southeast Asia to the remote villages of Central Asia, from the thriving cities of Europe to the emerging markets of Africa. Through it all, she would remain guided by the vision that had inspired her in Beijing, a vision of a connected world where the ancient roots of the Silk Road were reborn in a new era of cooperation and prosperity. Back in Kazakhstan, Anara's return was met with a mix of excitement and curiosity. Her colleagues at the university eagerly awaited her insights from Beijing. The Belt and Road Initiative had already begun to stir discussions across the nation, from academic circles to government offices, and even among the general public. Kazakhstan, with its vast steppes and strategic location, was poised to become a key player in the Silk Road economic belt. The government, led by President Nursultan Nazarbayev, saw the initiative as a golden opportunity to transform the country's infrastructure and economy. Anara was invited to join a task force that would explore how Kazakhstan could best leverage the BRI. The first task for the team was to assess the current state of infrastructure. Decades of underinvestment had left the country with aging roads, limited railways, and outdated ports. To realize the vision of a modern Silk Road, Kazakhstan needed significant upgrades. The task force, composed of economists, engineers, and planners, began drafting ambitious plans for high-speed railways, modern highways, and new logistics centers. One of the most significant projects was the development of the Korgos Gateway, a sprawling logistics hub on the border between China and Kazakhstan. This dry port, located in the heart of Eurasia, was designed to facilitate the flow of goods between East and West. Containers could be transferred from Chinese trains to Kazakh railways, speeding up the journey of goods across the continent. Anara visited Korgos as part of her research. What she saw was a bustling hive of activity, with cranes lifting containers, trains arriving and departing, and trucks rumbling along newly paved roads. The air buzzed with the energy of a place on the rise. Local officials proudly explained how the dry port was creating jobs and attracting investment, transforming the once sleepy border town into a thriving trade hub. But not everyone was optimistic. In the nearby village of Altinkol, she met with residents who voiced concerns about the rapid changes. "We were promised prosperity," said Aigul, a local shop owner, "but what we see are rising costs and displacement. Our traditional way of life is being threatened." Anara listened carefully, understanding that the benefits of such massive projects were not evenly distributed. She realized that while infrastructure development was crucial, it needed to be inclusive and sensitive to local communities. The task force had to ensure that the economic benefits reached all layers of society, and not just the urban elite. Back in Almaty, Anara presented her findings to the task force. She emphasized the need for a balanced approach, one that combined top-down investment with grassroots engagement. "We must ensure that the Belt and Road Initiative does not just pass through our country, but lifts our people," she argued. Her passionate plea resonated with many, and the task force began to incorporate more community-focused strategies into their plans. Meanwhile, construction projects continued at a brisk pace. The China-Kazakhstan rail corridor was expanded, cutting travel time between the two countries. New highways linked remote areas to major cities, facilitating the movement of goods and people. Industrial parks and special economic zones sprang up along these routes, attracting businesses and investors. Anara traveled extensively, documenting these changes. In the city of Shymkent, she visited a new industrial park where factories produced everything from textiles to electronics. The park had attracted foreign investment and created thousands of jobs, revitalizing the local economy. Workers, many of whom had migrated from rural areas, spoke of improved livelihoods and new opportunities. In Astana, the capital city, Anara met with government officials to discuss the broader geopolitical implications of the BRI. Kazakhstan's strategic location made it a crucial link in the overland route between China and Europe. The country's leadership saw this as a chance to enhance their diplomatic standing and forge stronger ties with both East and West.